So I can't remember specifically how I came into the communities there. I think it was through Heidi Rose Robbins, if I remember correctly. I think I took a course of hers and then somehow she connected me to you. So over the years, I've taken a couple of Sarah's smaller courses, the last one being, I believe, the Inner Critic Cure. I think that was the last smaller one. And then through that, um, a little bit about my background, similar to Michelle's, I was in sort of I I'm from New York, so I was in the corporate world in finance for 18 years. And then I lost my dad in 2016, and I decided that to cancer, and I decided that my life needed a huge change. So I kind of stepped back for a bit, took some time off with this very much support of my husband because I was completely burnt out, and I went to culinary school in 2019 and have my certification from ICC in Manhattan. And then from there, I decided that yes, I would like to be a chef, but I don't want to be a chef in a restaurant. So, so I very quickly decided I needed to kind of go another route with that. So that I then fast forward a year or two later, I got my certification through IIN in integrative nutrition health coaching. So my idea is to merge these two together to create my online brand and business. And coming into Sarah's world for this course felt like a really perfect fit because I knew for many, many years that I no longer wanted to work for someone else. I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur in some way, shape, or form. And now having these two certifications, I decided, okay, well, I'd like to take on clients and assist them with meal prep and basic needs as far as kitchen and culinary skills and also overall wellness. So, so Sarah's, before the new incarnation of Sorceress CEO, the previous name was Create Your Dream Business. So I thought, well, that's serendipitous. It feels like a perfect name, perfect plan. And I've been in now at this point for almost a year, as Sarah mentioned. And for me, I'm still at the Michelle is much more further ahead than I am because she's had many years at this. I'm more in the initial stages. This past year for me has been a lot of inner work for me because I think I have a lot of cultural biases. I'm Puerto Rican and Cuban, and in terms of the way I was brought up, therapy and, wellness was not hugely a part of my world. So going to IIN and getting that certification and now being in this program has helped me with imposter syndrome, inner critic, doubts, fears. There's been a lot of crying. There's been a lot of emotion. There's been a lot of, trying to get to the point where I feel like I'm worthy of putting my skills and gifts and talent out into the world. I recently, in the past few months, have started on more of the tech element has been the scariest part for me. That's been a huge hurdle for me. Learning how to build a website and landing pages, all these things that I knew nothing about. So within the past couple of months with the tech hours in the program, which have been fantastic, I've created my Facebook business page, integrated that with my Instagram page, cleaned that up a bit. So I'm sort of learning how to integrate all of these parts of my life together to then be able to create my website and have my signature programs and offerings and be able to put that out in the world, hopefully very soon. So that's where I am with all of this. I'm trying not to get too emotional too, because Michelle was getting emotional, but it's a beautiful community of women and everyone's at a different stage in their business, which is really helpful and inspirational because I felt like coming into it, a lot of the women in the group had already started their businesses or were sort of midway through or were transitioning into another style or wanted to upgrade their websites or just tweak their offerings. So for me, it's really inspirational and interesting to be in the mentoring sessions and the master classes and the tech calls and the, every single element that's available to be able to talk to someone who's a little further along, be able to talk to someone in the group who's maybe had a glitch in something, be able to ask a question about something that I don't understand at all and get immediate responses and support of, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? And it's just very supportive, and everyone is just fantastic and just terrific at what they do and what they're trying to do, and just incredibly inspiring. It was challenging. It was challenging. I'm a tough East Coast girl. I'm from New York. So I think, when you're from New York, you tend to kind of want to do everything on your own and never ask for help. So that was hard for me. Um, but also really liberating at the same time to know that there's this really great group of women who, you know, chime in and say, that looks great, or why don't you tweak this? Or, hey, how about this idea? That felt very, at first hard for me to kind of take in, but then I found myself, really looking forward to coming on another session and, learning something new and, having our pod phone calls and reaching out to the women in the group as I did on my own, emailing them, hey, would you like to have a chat? Would you like to have what we call our coffee dates, or tea dates, virtually, and just, have a 2 or 3 hour phone call with someone who's having a challenge or going through something and or relating to what I'm going through. And just finding that that was incredibly helpful and made me feel like I wasn't alone in it. And, just feeling like I was very supported and uplifted, and just it's been fantastic. And, staying on for another year, like Michelle, I kind of felt like I'm nowhere near anywhere I'd like to be at this point, but I also have to acknowledge that I've made certain strides and steps when I really step back, like what we were doing yesterday in our visioning. Um, and I know one of our other members here, Alicia, yesterday said, she tends to be negative and look at everything that she hasn't done. And I tend to be that way sometimes too, like, oh, I haven't accomplished A, B, and C, but then look back and go, but I've done all these other things. So being able to do that in a setting that feels really safe and encouraging and relational is really positive, and it's really powerful to also see these women who are just building these fantastic businesses and look at that and go, I want that, and I would like, and I aspire to that, and I'd like to be at that point.